You're listening to Maui's ESPN 550. Fred Guzman along with Bill Schindler and a special guest with us here, young man by the name of Branden Kaupe. Thanks so much for joining us, Branden.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Hey, first of all, must be a very exciting time, I'm sure, for you and your family.
Oh yeah, this past few weeks and days and stuff has been going by too quick, and all this overwhelming feelings just kicking in, but I don't think I'm really going to get the feeling until I actually get on the field in Florida and start playing with other guys. I realize, man, what am I doing here?
Well, I know it's really a funny thing, too, because I'm sure this is the kind of stuff that people dream about all their lives. If you're a baseball player, and I've known you since you were a little guy, and I'm sure that was always your dream. So
yeah.
You have this dream, and this dream comes true. That must be a kind of a shocking feeling.
Oh yeah, I was watching the MLB draft live on the computer, and as soon as I heard my name, I couldn't even believe it. I was speechless. I just stared at the internet, the screen, and looked at my dad and gave him a grin, looked back, and I couldn't say anything.
Well, Branden, let's talk a little bit about your development as a player. When did you first start playing? How old were you?
I was 3 years old when I first started with my dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So from that point on, and I know you had an older brother who was very active in the game as well, so you played the game for many, many years. But it's really interesting because, like many people, the way you became noted and known as a player and as a prospect was when you went to the mainland and played in competition there.
Yeah.
That must have been pretty exciting and a nerve-wracking thing for you as well, huh?
Yeah, before that trip, I never went farther than California, so when I got there, everything was new to me. Playing in the hot sun was I think it was like 105 degrees. Played in Arizona, and there's so much scouts. It was pretty much our whole class of seniors this past year in the back of the backstop with all radar guns and stuff, and I don't know, it's just a crazy feeling.
I know. So I hear in those things that there are more people with radar guns than there are fans.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people. Even some people you thought was fans. There's actually scouts here, all in disguise, and I don't know, it's pretty crazy.
So how did you do in those competitions?
I actually did good. I prayed a lot, and yeah, I did pretty good. I got to talk to a lot of scouts and stuff, colleges, pros, and yeah, most of them are actually pros, in fact.
Now let me ask you a little bit about the whole process. Now, during the time that you were preparing for the draft, were you and your family in communications with various scouts?
Oh yeah, they're mostly in contact with my father. There's a lot of times where they try to get in contact with me, but I was busy with like practice or whatever. So most of the things was my dad. They called him a lot. Like even right before the picks, they called my dad. I was sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I even brushed my teeth before all that happened.
So let me ask you this then. What were they telling your dad in terms of where you might be or if you would be selected?
Yeah, I was projected in the 6th, 7th, and 8th round, and we were just sitting down, just a typical Hawaiian family watching TV, and they gave us the call a little bit too early, but nothing was wrong with that. Yeah, they gave us the call, and they let my dad know, your son right now is on the top of our list. Is he ready to go in the 4th or 5th?
Now this was the Mets?
Yeah, this is the Mets. And I looked at my dad and I said, yeah, I guess. And my dad let him know I'm ready and stuff, and we just watched just in case. I wasn't really prepared for the 4th round, but I was just watching it, and sure enough, they called my name, and that's when everything just turned on.
And I know that there must have been a flood of phone calls at your home and people with well-wishers and the like.
Oh yeah, there was over 50 or 100 phone calls in the next 15 minutes, adding my sister's phone, my dad's phone, my mom's. It was just going crazy.
Now, once you got past the excitement, the next thing is, okay, now I've got to get ready to really show, because this is not a game anymore. This is a job.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how just in one day my whole life changed. Like from just kicking back, playing on my PlayStation. From there, right after that happened, I was like, Dad, I gotta go run, and I hit the stadium and I started running already. So yeah, all that just came into play in one day.
So what's the story now, Branden? When are you leaving for Florida?
I was supposed to be heading out on Saturday, but there's a lot of good friends that I have. Their grad party is this week, so my dad talked to one of the people up there in New York and asked him if I could come out on Monday, because I want to at least say my farewells to all my friends till I get there and just start doing my job.
All right. Now, what is the plan? How long will you be there in Florida? How long does that process go before you actually get assigned somewhere?
The first training, it's like this rookie thing. Everybody goes through it. I'm gonna be there for like about 2 months or so. I'm coming back in August, stay home for a couple weeks, and go back up. So yeah, I should be home in like 2 months, visit a little out, and go back up.
And have they indicated to you where your first minor league assignment would be?
Probably in Tennessee. I think it's Kingston, Tennessee.
Yep, I mean, they have a lot of Hawaiian food there, you know that, right?
I'm hoping.
Don't bank on it, brother. Before you go, tell your mother to give you the recipe for the chicken katsu. And now, as they talk to you, and now the goal becomes the major leagues. The difficulty about it is people don't realize that this is the first in a lot of steps. Another prominent player from Hawaii, Shane Victorino, it took him, what, 5-6 years before, 6 years before he finally found a regular job in the major leagues. So there's lots of ups and downs, yeah?
Oh yeah, baseball is a game of failure, and if you just gotta learn how to accept that and just keep working. You can't give up or anything.
And you know, a lot of people may have been surprised with your selection, not only because you're from such a distant place, but you know, you're not 6 foot tall either.
Oh yeah, it's so funny because there's a scout I talked to. He told me that every time I go to a place for like a training camp or something, the reason that I'll stand out is because I'm small, not because the scouts, the first thing they see is size.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because the scout told me when they look at everybody else, they see all tall guys, and boom, it just drops down to some little guy. And then, yeah, so he said the reason why I stand out is because I'm small. It's pretty crazy.
And what position do they project you to be playing? I remember you started your high school career as a second baseman. And played shortstop the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Middle infielder, second baseman, is that what they're
Yeah,
talking about?
second baseman. They has me at shortstop only because of this past couple of games in my senior year. I've been over there helping on my team, but I'm going to be up there as a second baseman.
So what are the goals, buddy?
I don't know, just work as hard as I can and just see where life takes me.
Well, I know it's going to be taking to Florida and Kingston, Tennessee, and we'll see what happens. You know, when I saw you yesterday, and Bill, I saw him up in the lobby trying to set up the interview and stuff. He had a brand new New York Mets hat on. Okay, now the tough question. You got to be honest with me, okay?
All right. Yeah.
Looking like an uncle, okay? Who did you root for before you were drafted by the Mets?
The Phillies.
Really?
Yeah, the Phillies, and that's their rivals too in the National League East. Well, I guess everything just changed.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Hey, Branden Kaupe, thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck. I know a lot of people here in Maui are very excited about your selection. You know, your family's been very involved in sports for very many years.
Yeah.
In fact, you know, you already know this, right? Your daddy played on the state championship team, right?
Yeah, I know. I got a lot of stuff about that one after we lost.
I know. I figured I knew you were going to try to keep you off. Yeah, we won and you never. Yeah, you never.
Yeah.
And one last point. I know that we were listening to the newscast a little while ago, and our news director, Wendy Osher, was reporting on a story that some scam artists were calling people around the community. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's somebody saying that my parents didn't raise me or whatever, and she's my auntie, and they're trying to put up like this thing about putting up money for his foundation or whatever, and we have no clue who that is or anything.
They didn't raise you. That's why I said, you know how many bills I pay for that kid?
Yeah, I don't think anybody can get confused if you look at us. We look exactly the same.
No, brother, you're more handsome. All right. Hey, thank you very much, Branden. And again, if somebody calls you up, and I thought that was funny because Bill was doing an imitation off the air about, I think Wendy was saying something about they were getting belligerent with people, right? And, you know, I said, what do you mean you're not going to give the kid money? That is hilarious. But I'm sure people know better than that. And I'm sure as soon as they got the calls, they called your home, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, that's how we found out.
Hey, well, you know, they don't realize by the way, when we go off the air, because of that bonus money, I'm going to talk to you about a little more myself. Hey, thanks a lot, Branden. Congratulations, son.
Thank you.
You're listening to Maui's ESPN 550. We'd like to appreciate the fact that Branden Kaupe has joined us and offer the young man the best of luck in his pursuits in Major League, or we should say professional baseball. Major League Baseball being, of course, the ultimate goal. We'll be back in a bit on the Sports Phone.